Okay, coming back to the third part of the lecture 1, let's recall the anatomy of a chemical process. So we start with the stage 1, raw material, right? Feed preparation or pre-treatment. We go to the reaction stage, product separation. Unreacted will be recycled back. You have some byproduct that are set off. Others, if any waste, that you can go for the waste treatment. Then you go, the main product or important products will go for further purification, then product storage and sales. So these are the various stages that comes under your chemical process. Now, what are the project documentation that you need to do? So there are various levels of documentation. Some are with the government, some with the vendors, right? Or some with the designers and so on. Okay, so there are 6 different ways how you can do the documentation. First one is general correspondence. So this is within the design group and with the government departments, equipment vendors, site personnel and the client. Okay, so whatever invoices that you get from these, you need to all make sure you document them well. Then you have calculation sheet that you get from your design engineers, like your design calculations, cost estimation, mass energy balance, everything. Then you have drawings. So the first one is your basic flow sheet. Then you have a PNID, you have a plant layout, you have the whole site plant design, equipment details, piping diagrams, isometrics, architectural drawings, design sketches, everything. So whatever all these kind of sketches you get, also need to document them, because for any process information you have to refer back to your drawings. Specification sheet. So these are the equipment specification. You will get all the details of the equipment here. What is the diameter of your column, what is the thickness of the column, what type of head is being used, do you have what is your feed inlet, do you have what do you call it, how many trays, how many nozzles, and what are the dimensions of the nozzles and everything. So you can get all this information for each equipment you have in your plant in your specification sheet. Next is your health, safety and environment information. So health and safety information, generally you will get all from MSDS forms. HAZOP and HAZAN documentation has to be done. Emission assessments and permits need to be obtained, because you cannot leave harmful gases to the environment. Make sure you meet the criteria set by the government. Then all the purchase order, quotations and invoices have to be documented. Then design selection optimization. So here when you talk about the optimization or design selection, which is your learning outcome 1, where you need to identify the most optimized or sustainable process between the two, then you have to use the selection optimization approach. Okay, for example, production of formaldehyde. It can be produced via 2 different processes: catalytic dehydrogenation of methanol by controlled oxidation of natural gas. Second, direct reaction between CO and H2 under special conditions of catalyst temperature and pressure. So now many alternatives can be formed for the production of formaldehyde. Okay, and there are many variables, very different gases mixture compositions you can use, various temperature, pressure, catalyst you can use. So you now need to identify which alternative is the best. Okay, so you always need to go for optimum economic design, optimum process. Okay, so your optimum process is somewhere here. So you need to look for your total cost inside the plan. What are the fixed cost, and then what are the cost for your energy requirements and everything, fixed cost, operating cost and everything. So you need to find the most optimum design based on the cost or how much profit you can make. Alright, you can also compare the processes in terms of the yield or selectivity as well. So there are many optimization tools based on various variables also can be performed. You can also do it in Aspen HYSYS. All right, you can do some optimization or sensitivity analysis where you can observe how you change the parameter affect your process. Okay, how does it affect your product yield or maybe the purity and so on. Okay, so perform some optimizations. So looking into some practical considerations in design. So we need to understand that there's a physical problems involved in final operation and maintenance of the design equipment. For example, developing the plant layout. So you need to know the key control valves must be placed where they are easily accessible to the operators. Okay, so when you design your plant layout, you need to ensure that everything is in a proper place. Okay, and there are certain guidelines to draw your plant layout. So definitely we are not studying here now, but there are resources available where you can study how to design your plant layout. Sufficient space must be available for maintenance personnel to check, take part and repair the equipment, right? Don't make it very congested. Sufficient plant layout to allow maintenance workers to remove the head of the installed exchanger and force cleaning drills or brushes through inside of tubes or remove entire tube bundle. Okay, so the heat exchangers are very huge. If you want to remove the tube bundle from the heat exchanger, you need a certain space to remove it out, right? So make sure all these things are properly planned. So what you can do for activity is you can form a group of two or three in a group and then do this activity, and we shall discuss this during our tutorial class. Okay, so the activity says you are the project manager of a team that has been asked to complete the design of a chemical plant up to the stage of design selection. So you have 3 engineers available including yourself, and the work must be completed in 10 weeks. Develop a project plan and schedule of tasks for each engineer. Be sure to allow sufficient time for equipment sizing, costing, and optimization. What intermediate deliverables would you specify to ensure that the project stays on track? Okay, so you need to come up with a project plan to ensure there's a smooth completion of the project, and what are the intermediate that you can deliver. Okay, that is your milestone that you want to achieve. You can select any process as an example. Okay, and you can just come up with the schedule for 10 weeks. So this is the end of our lecture 1. So the takeaway is you have understood what is a design synthesis, how to design a process, how to involve sustainability elements inside your design. Okay, what is the effect or impact of including sustainability or sustainable design approach? Okay, what are the benefits of it? So general design considerations that you need to follow while designing a plan. Okay, and also if you have 2 processes or alternative processes, how do you select which alternative to proceed with? Okay, as we discussed, it will be based on your cost estimation, and you can also select it based on the sustainability criteria. Okay, so you need to perform basically the feasibility study to select your most efficient process pathway. Okay, so you can list down what are the various criteria to be considered while selecting the most feasible process. So in the next week we are going to study on design practice, how to draw the block diagram, PFT and PNID, and what are the difference between all the 3, and also we'll go in detail on process synthesis. So that's all for our today's class. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week.